Cops, you see it. Let's get it. The United States senators unveil a bipartisan bill to empower Biden to ban TikTok and other services. The government is not happy with TikTok. They've been trying to ban or figure out what they want to do with TikTok, but you do have a nation state with 100 million devices that they're tracking everything from longitude, latitude, voice, pushing out mis and disinformation. But once again, let's hit the article. A dozen U.S. citizens unveil a bipartisan legislative Tuesday, expanding President Joe Biden's legal authority to ban TikTok. Can the president ban a service, a website, right? Making the latest in a string of congressional proposals threatening the social media platform future in the United States, right? So I think they're trying to figure out really how to do it. The legislation called the Restriction the Emergency of Security Threats That Risk Information and Communication Technology Act. The Restrict Act does not target TikTok specifically for a ban, but it aims to give the United States new powers up to and including a ban against foreign linked producers of electronics or software that the Commerce Department deems to be a national security risk, right? So the Commerce Department can deem it to be a national security risk. The proposed law takes a wide ranging approach to the fears that companies that ties to China could pressure by the country's government into handing over American sensitive personal information and communication records. In the case of TikTok, lawmakers have said China's national security laws could force TikTok Chinese parent ByteDance to provide access to TikTok United States user data. Right. So, and everybody in the world knows that that's a communist regime. So when they want data for the company's gonna hand it over. When you're in the United States, if somebody gets a search warrant, right, the company's handing over the data. TikTok CEO Chu said that this week the company have never received such a request from the Chinese government and would never comply with one. The company has taken voluntary steps to wall off United States user data from the rest of its global organization, including by hosting that data on servers operated by the United States tech giant Oracle. The company is also negotiating a possible agreement with the Biden administration that could allow TikTok to continue operating in the United States under certain conditions. In a statement, TikTok spokesperson Brooks said a United States government ban will stifle American speech and will be a ban on the exports of American cultures and values to a billion plus people who use our services worldwide. But that has not stopped many policymakers from seeking tougher measures against the company. Last week, the House Foreign Affairs Committee advanced a bill that would require the Biden administration to issue a nationwide TikTok ban if an assessment of the platform found potential risks to United States user data, risks that multiple administration officials had already said existed. Another bill led by Senator Mark Rubio would ban transactions by social media companies based in or under the substantial influence of countries considered United States foreign adversaries. The Tuesday bill unveiled by the Senate Intelligence Committee Chairman Mark and South Dakota Republican John is less prescriptive, granting the Commerce Department wide discretion to identify and then to mitigate perceived risks stemming from a technology produced by companies with ties to foreign adversaries, including China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, Cuba, and Venezuela. The bill specifically directed the Secretary of Commerce to identify, deter, disrupt, prevent, prohibit, investigate, or otherwise mitigate national security risks associated with the technology linked to those countries. It enables the Commerce Secretary to negotiate and enter into, impose, and enforce any mitigation measures in response. The latitude will reflect an entirely new authority granted to the Secretary of Commerce, no authority derived from the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The legislation could cover a broad range of technologies in addition to social media, including artificial intelligence, financial technology service, quantum computing, e-commerce. The bill's text also prioritized technologies in satellites and mobile networks, cloud service and storage, internet infrastructure providers, home internet gear, commercial and personal drones, video games and payment act, among others. Under the bill, the United States government would also be required to declassify and share evidence gathered by the intelligence community to substantiate allegations that a given company or product poses a national security risk. The bill would shift U.S. policy away from an ad hoc scramble focused on individual companies and provide the United States government with a systematic legal structure for addressing tech driven spying threats. In recent years, United States concern about Chinese espionage have largely focused on telecommunications companies such as Huawei and ZTE, who produce wireless gear for cellular networks, but those have expanded into including makers of surveillance cameras and more recently apps and software makers such as TikTok. Instead of playing a whack-a-mole on Highway one day and ZTE the next, conspiracy TikTok, we need a more comprehensive approach to evaluating and mitigating these threats posed by these foreign technologies from these adversarial nations. Adding that the bill will be crafted in consultations with the Department of Commerce, Defense, Justice, and Treasury, along with the United States intelligence officials, the Federal Communication Commission, and the White House. In the statement, National Security Advisor Jake endorsed the bill, calling it a systematic framework for addressing technologies based on threats to the United States security and safety of Americans. This will help us address the threats we face today and also prevent such risks from arising in the future. Warners added that the legislation has sparked a lot of interest from other senators beyond the 12 co-sponsors and among other members of the House in both parties. So once again, United States unveiled bipartisan bill to empower Biden to ban TikTok and other services. That was the Restrict Act. A lot of people worried that it's overreach. I'm sorry. I'm sure the ACLU will chime in. The legislation called the Restrictive Emergency Act of Security Threat that Risk in Information Communication Technology, aka Restrict Act. Once again, that could be United States government meddling in your business. But once again, Professor Black Ops, please subscribe. We got to ban TikTok.